And then we're going to go live on Facebook. All right, almost ready. Just going to check here that we are live on Facebook, so anyone who's joining us can see exactly what we are seeing now. Give me just a moment. If we are live on Facebook, you are joining us for our latest information session on our G3 program. So we are just confirming that we are having no technical difficulties, and it looks like we are good. So welcome everyone this evening to yet another G3 information session. This time again, we are covering our technology programs, and that includes programs that are focused on cybersecurity, computer science, and information systems technology. So if you're interested in any of those programs, you're not sure if you're interested, this is the night for you to be here. We are going to cover the pathways to those programs, career potential, earning potential, your specific next steps. And joining us here today are Art Lee representing IST, Henry Kaufman representing cybersecurity, and Sam Brill representing our credential programs here with Workforce Solutions. For those of you who are new to G3, G3 is an awesome opportunity for Virginians. It stands for Get Skilled, Get a Job, and Get Ahead. And so that funding is going to cover these in-demand programs here at LFCC and at other Virginia community colleges. So here's an overview of some of those G3 programs. We have associate's degrees, we have certificates, and we have fast forward credentials. And starting with the fast forward credentials, you could take weeks, not years, to complete that programming, move forward with a certificate in a year or so, and then move on to a 2-year degree. After LFCC, you also have the opportunity to earn a 4-year degree or even a master's degree. So we are going to get started with Art with IST, and Art, you can take it away.
Okay, great. Good to be with you all tonight. If you would go ahead and go to the next slide, Kelly. As an instructor / advisor of information systems technology, as the most frequently asked question I get is, I want to get a degree or certificate, but I don't know where to start. So as it says here, the best way to start is not to try to figure out, well, what specialty or what area of expertise do I want to focus on, because things change so quickly. My advice is to get a good solid foundation in a variety of IT areas. The first course you see listed here, if you're in, whether you're, and I'll talk in a minute about degrees and career study certificates, but the course that would be the most useful to take as maybe your very first course, or certainly one of your first courses, is SDV 101, Orientation to the IT Professions. This is a 1-credit, 7-week course that's totally online. We offer it year-round. We offer it fall, spring, summer, sometimes multiple times during the fall and spring semesters, meaning the first half versus the second half. So the opportunity is there for you to get started at any time by taking this course. If we go to the next slide, you'll see the kind of the foundation, the courses specifically that you would want to focus on. And you can see the numbers there. I won't read those, but these are focusing on things such as web page design, database fundamentals, telecommunications, or the introduction to networking might be another way of thinking of that. System, software, hardware issues that any computer system would have to deal with, as well as software design, sometimes referred to as programming. So each of those courses, you can see they're offered either in the fall or spring, and a few of them are offered in the summer. They're sometimes offered online, sometimes in person, or sometimes both. That does change from one semester to the next, partly depending on the demand of those particular courses. Each of these courses is a 3-credit course. And the nice thing about this is that you can take any of these courses as your first course. For example, along with SDV 101, you could take 1 or 2 or 3 of these courses in the same semester to get started, and then take the others perhaps the next semester, or just 1 course per semester is what some people do. Of course, that takes things a little bit longer. Let's go to the next screen here. So by doing so, by that is completing those those courses I just mentioned, you're working towards the Associate of Applied Science degree in IST, or Information Systems Technology. You also would be working towards at least one, if not multiple, what's referred to as Career Study Certificates, or what's commonly referred to as CSC. Now, you'll hear CSC referred to as computer science, but in this context, it's referring to as Career Study Certificates. So sometimes we kind of confuse people by using the same acronym. You can see the CSCs listed there. I'll read them real quickly. Applied Computer Science generally, Cybersecurity and Networking Foundations, Networking Specialists, Software Development, and Technology Essentials. Each one of those career study certificates will focus on those specific areas. By taking those foundational courses, you are then starting to answer the question that I posed first: where do I start? Because you will have created a cadre, if you will, of courses that you then will say, well, I want to go further into this area or into this area. Or you may answer the question, I don't want to do this area. So that's commonly how it works. Let's go to the next slide. There are a couple other options that we have: cloud computing and cybersecurity CSCs. These are typically require that you have had some of those previous courses already. There are some prerequisites associated with those. But if you are seeing this on Facebook Live and don't necessarily need the foundational courses, you may already have a background in computing and you want to jump directly into cloud computing or cybersecurity CSC, that is possible. So that's where you would need to contact someone at the college, myself, or one of the advisors. Just real quick, one of the benefits of that SDV 101 course that I mentioned earlier is that gives you access to a listing of job opportunities that become available that basically I get calls or emails, as well as my colleagues, the other faculty members, about jobs that are needed in the area. And sometimes they're not necessarily in this area. They may be actually in the Northern Virginia area as well. But we try to focus on the local area as much as possible. And you see some of the jobs that some of our recent graduates have been able to obtain, either through a degree or a certificate. I will tell you that most will require a degree versus the career study certificate, but depending on a person's background, they might be able to land a job based on their experience elsewhere. I think there's one more slide there that we'll take a look at some of the employers. So this is just a sampling of some of the employers that have either hired our recent graduates or are in the process of looking for people to join their workforce. At the top, you can see that sometimes these are entry-level paid positions. Sometimes they're paid internships, and sometimes they're unpaid internships, which, everyone likes to get paid, but sometimes even though the internship may be unpaid, it's giving you that valuable experience that will then lead to another step in your career path. So I won't read all these to you, but some of our larger employers, such as Valley Health, Navy Federal. In fact, I just got an email today from one of our previous students that is working at Navy Federal. The various government entities such as Frederick County and Winchester, they hire people that work in their IT areas. American Woodmark has hired several of our students, as well as Lord Fairfax Community College. There are several graduates that are in our IT services area right now. So the SDV 101 course gives you that access to these positions. Is not something that you maybe want the very first semester, but you have access to it as long as you remain a student at Lord Fairfax. Kelly, let's see where we're going next.
Next is going to be Henry with cybersecurity. Yeah. And thank you so much. I'm really glad that you included the employer slide, because one of the things that I tell students when they're on tours is that you all do have those connections in the community and you can get them to that next step, whether it is an internship or it is a paid position. So that's a huge advantage of going to a community college, where it's LFCC or elsewhere, honestly. So thank you so much for that.
Sure.
So next, as promised, we are going to go to Henry Kaufman with cybersecurity.
Okay. First off, the way I'm going to direct this is I really don't have any PowerPoint slides, but I'm going to direct this and talking about the stuff, the cybersecurity like certificates and degrees that we offer. But then I'm going to backtrack a little bit and show the G3 stackable capability to go into this. It's not, you can go to any of these at its inception at the beginning. Okay, but there is a nice smooth transition, especially for students in the G3 area, or if you want to call it G3, that has no idea where they really want to go, but they can start as something, and Art's already mentioned that, like the Cybersecurity Networking Foundation, and move on up in the line. Okay, and so you can actually get a career out of this. That's what the G3 is really built to do, to give you a career out of this. So that's what I'm going to do. The first one, I don't. You said I had desktop, so we'll see how this thing goes. Can you see that, or do I have to do something?
Not yet. So if you click share screen in the bottom, it's a big green button.
I thought I did, but I guess I didn't.
Okay, that's okay.
Hold on a minute. Maybe I didn't. I should have. I thought I did. Sorry.
That's okay.
Now do you see it?
Yes.
Okay. I thought I clicked it once. I missed it, I guess. But anyway. One of the degrees that we have in cybersecurity, I'm going to start with degree first, and I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to work backwards in what we have. This is actually the program for it. I'm not going to go through every course here. The thing I want to stress on the degree is that it is a quasi-type degree for anybody who wants to go into that. And it is based on, it can transfer to a George Mason University for a Bachelor of Applied Science in Cybersecurity, or you can go into the workforce. And what I want to stress on this one, and you'll see as I go backwards, is that these courses are really a subject, some of them, a aftermath of something you could have taken along the line in some of the other certificates to get there. Okay, and so therefore, this is the actual ultimate goal if you want to go all the way up to degree level. And it is basically recognized by the Center of Academic Excellence, by the National Security Agency, and I've just been informed through the grapevine, which I have not got the official letter. I think we're going to be also one of the first 2 community colleges to get an ABET accreditation on this program. All right. So anyway, outside of that, the other one that I gotta move around here and find these things. Okay. All right. And so I'm trying. This is the Cybersecurity and Network Foundations. This is if you're interested or you don't know. Let's say you don't know. You want to go into IT. Information technology, arts program, cybersecurity, or computer science, and you don't really know, you can start with this. And what I like to show is that this gives you a little flavor of a lot of the different programs, but all these courses can go into the next one, which is basically the Cybersecurity Specialist Career Study Certificate. They can all go but one. Okay, I really should be accurate here. 107 does not. But it comes out to be is that many of them do. You are going on a progressive step. Think in your mind, I'm progressing through my career. All right. And so therefore, you can start with this. Art had this on his list. And therefore, you can now go into the cybersecurity specialist. Many of them are prereqs to that, and you've already taken them. If you've taken the other certificate, move on to this, and all of these flow into the degree. The only requirement is you've got to finish this one first before to go into the degree. And that's because of ABET accreditation more so than anything else. So now you've got yourself a progressive step of approach to a career. Can you go to any one of these? Sure you can. All right. But the thing is, as long as you qualify to go into, the G3 is made to help people with a career pathway. And I think that's what this does. All right. So the networking one is underneath the art, the cybersecurity specialist CSC, and the degree is under me at this moment anyway. The other one that Art also mentioned, there's two certificates. That was applied computer science. Dr. Melissa Stang is head of that, and she's not here tonight. She had another meeting. And the same thing here, you get a feel of a number of different courses in here that will actually lead you to, this is applied computer science. They're different. I'm not sure if they lead one or the other. I'll find it here in a minute. I got too many stuff up. You got a generalist one, which is more along the line of the foundations one, like Art has. It gives you a flavor of computer science, some other things on the computer. This is where Art said, remember he said CSC gets confusing? CSC gets confusing because the course title is a CSC and the career study certificate is that. So this is basically a really good pathway, if you will, for the computer science side. There's a pathway from the cybersecurity side, and Art, Professor Lee, or Art Lee, sorry, actually has a very good progressive step on the different certificates as well that he listed in his program. Many of them supports the industry certs, and I know I got to keep quiet here, but industry certs, which will be followed up by Samantha Brill. So I will leave that to her. But it comes, and then the last thing I want to say in reference to, there were some other things, but I'm going to try to cut this short. If here in a minute is hold on a minute. I'm trying to get this thing moved. One thing about Zoom, it puts all this stuff in my face. And see if it's here. This, if you want to know about careers in cybersecurity, there is a place called CyberSeek. You can look at each of the roles. If you click on that, it will actually show you down at the bottom. If I can click on it, it'll show you down at the bottom, you know, these things or whatever goes along the line, the pathways and stuff like that. And when you click on it, like I just clicked on IT auditor, which is really not one I want to click on, but that's okay. Penetration testing, everybody likes penetration testing. All right, you can look at the degrees it needs. Many of them do require in a career mode bachelor's because of federal government, national security, you need clearances. But there are a number of local vendors, employers that Art mentioned some of them. Navy Credit Union, I have one there. I have one in Sin Intelligence, which was not on the list. That does cybersecurity, the Outer Ray. So there's a number of jobs. But you can take a look at that and see about the jobs. They also tell you about salaries in this, as well as on the interactive map, you can look at, and it will tell you if it ever loads off of my wireless, in the country where these jobs are. All right. So overall, in a nutshell, you have a really unique pathway, as I can see, leading from, I don't know what I want to do in IT. I just know I like it. Figure out what you want to do. I want to do this. Now I can progress along the line and not have to say, I took 10 steps forward and go, oh, I didn't want to do that. And you have to go back and start over again. Okay. So you can do that. And then you can also get information in reference to saying, well, what kind of jobs can I get in the field? How much am I going to make in the field? You know, what state? Maybe I'm here now, but I know that in 2 months, I'm going to move to Texas. Okay. What can I do? So therefore, there's a real conglomerate of everything that you can actually put into one nutshell. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm done. Can I share it back or what?
Sure, I'll switch the share. Give me just a second. All right, so thank you, Henry, for sharing that with us. I remember you showing CyberSeek before when we had some high school and middle school students here, and I love seeing the pathways and just the wide array of jobs available across the United States. Was very excited to see that Virginia was a dark blue. I'm guessing that means there's a lot of jobs here. Is that right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
And most of them are probably in the DC. I will say that most of them are probably Blue Ridge East of us, Blue Ridge East in the Reston area and stuff. But you can get pretty good salaries, and it's hard to find good cybersecurity experts. So yeah, they have a good open field right now.
Great. Well, it's a great sign for our students or anyone who's interested in cybersecurity. So thank you again, Henry. All right, so now we're going to go over to Sam Burrell. She is going to talk about the IT certifications that we have available through Workforce Solutions.
Hi, good evening, everyone. So I represent Workforce and our IT certifications. Now you're probably wondering what the difference between a certificate and a degree and a certification is, because it could all get a little bit confusing. So certifications are training that is usually followed by a nationwide exam. And those exams can be taken whether you live in Virginia, and then if you move to Texas, that exam's going to go with you and that certification is going to go with you. So I want to take a moment and walk you through our website. Can everyone see this okay? Perfect. So I do want to start off by saying anything that I talk about in this session, I'm also having an IT information session this coming Thursday, July 15th from 4 to 5. And if you go to our website, it's lfccworkforce.com and go under events and info sessions. If you scroll down to IT certification info sessions, click on that. You're going to see that we have the IT information session this week. And if you click on that, you can register for that event. So next, I want to take you through our course catalog. So if you go back under courses and programs, scroll down to course catalog, you'll see the different thumbnails for our most current catalog. All right, and from here, you'll be able to navigate through the different IT certification classes that we offer. So first, I want to draw your attention to the right-hand side, the IT certification pathways. This beautiful chart that we have developed that shows the 4 different pathways that we offer. The first pathway is our security pathway, which covers IT fundamentals, Comptia A+, Comptia network, Comptia security. And under each pathway, you will notice that there are potential positions and salaries. So for security pathway, you can see that you could potentially get a job as a computer user support specialist or a network and computer systems administrator. Henry and Art did a great job talking about the progression of different classes and the stackable credentials. We do offer a lot of stackable credentials. The idea is to start in one area and progress, that you will eventually lead to a great career opportunity. You will see that for each one of these pathways, it does require a Comptia IT Fundamentals. This is similar to the SDV class that Art and Henry were talking about. It's a first step. You're going to get introduced to all the basic principles and different things of IT to make sure that IT really is where you want to be. And so you'll see we have the security pathway, we have the IT management pathway, cloud pathway, and then our newest pathway is the software developer pathway. One of the great things about these certifications is that we have credit for prior learning in place. That just means if you take one of our Comptia A+, Network Plus, Security Plus, Linux Plus, or even our Amazon Web Services Cloud Practitioner certification, those certifications could transfer in for credit towards a degree program. So again, that goes back to that stackable progression option. So I won't take the time to go into detail about each class. Join our info session on Thursday to get more in depth on those programs. But talking about the job opportunities, at the bottom here, you'll see that we do offer a guaranteed interview program. So if a student takes our A+ network security classes, completes their class and obtains the credential, we have partnered with quite a few companies that will guarantee you an interview for an entry-level job, pending, of course, they are hiring at the time of completion. And all you need to do when you are going through this catalog is if you just hover over everything and click, it will directly link you to a more information page. And again, we do have a handbook for our IT classes. So over here on page 6, hover over that and that'll take you directly to the certification or to the handbook. And that's about all that I have.
Well, that is awesome, Sam. I was really excited to hear more information from you, especially about that guarantee to interview. I knew we had that for other pathways, but to hear that it's been extended to IT is wonderful news. So thank you for sharing that. All right, and so with that being said, we are going to conclude this evening's session. I'm really glad that each of you were able to join us on Facebook Live this evening, and also grateful to Henry and to Art and to Sam for giving us this information and inspiring you all to take that next first step. If you do have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comment section. We'll answer them as we're able, or you can go to lfcc.edu/G3 for some more information. So thanks again, everyone, and have a great night.